Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. Today we're back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. Today we have ourselves a Zerg versus Protoss, or a Protoss versus Zerg. Really depends which way you want to look at it. Anyway, we are on the map Galactic process here, and spawning up in the top right hand side of the map, it is the very well known blue Zerg, HyperX Liquids TLO. I don't know why I say HyperX, but that's one of their team's main sponsors, I guess. Anyway, so TLO, a very well-known player, by all means. So it should be a good match with him in it, and his opponent. It is going to be Hellraiser. Hellraiser spawning down to the bottom left-hand side of the map, the red Protoss player. Not exactly a super known player. He's not exactly known to play in lots of tournaments or anything, but he is a Grandmaster level player, so it should be a good game between these two players regardless. Hellraiser, interestingly enough, going for a wall off on the low ground here, followed by a probe scout. So he wants to know what's going on, wants to know if he needs to like panic and complete that wall or anything. But he's likely going to follow this up with a pretty quick Nexus here. So standard gateway gas Nexus opening here. Not putting guys into the gas just yet. I guess he's going to wait till he gets that Nexus, as he wants to get that down as quick as possible. There goes one probe into the gas there. So very standard opening from Hellraiser here. I didn't even bother trying to pronounce his clan name, by the way. Yeah, I don't even know if that's a real clan or just a clan tag. Regardless, so TLO going for standard hatchery, then pool. Very common opening. Zergs don't follow it up by a gas. TLO isn't mining all the gas, so he could always go for maybe some Ling drops, maybe some Banelings, really anything like that. We'll see whether he decides to pull out of the gas later on. Well, once he gets the speed. Anyway. So yeah, very standard openings coming out of these players here. Hellraiser completing that wall. If he is going to need one more building there, and then he'll be able to block it off with a probe or a zealot. But yeah, standard opening here from both these players, really. TLO did pull out a gas completely, so yeah, just wanting to macro here. Looks like he's going for a fairly quick third base. 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the game. Not like a super greedy third or anything like that. No not gasless or anything, but yeah. So definitely wants to go for that macro play. Maybe TLO thinks he's the better player in this matchup, because I believe this is a ladder game. So these two players might play each other a fair bit on the ladder. Meanwhile, Hellraiser did continuously mine gas, got a second geyser. Now he's going for a Stargate very quickly here. Getting a Stargate before a mothership or anything like that. So he wants to be able to get out that Oracle harassment. Maybe Phoenix following it up, or maybe Phoenix right out the gate, but probably an Oracle going to be coming out here. One adept for Hellraiser, by the way, getting in. Going to get a confirmation on this third base. Very important. Actually, no, he's not going to shade into it. He's going to shade, but he's not going to confirm that there's a third base, so he is in the dark about that. He's going to see all the drones there. TLO actually did a bit of a panic pull there, as there was actually no Lings out to deal with that, but Hellraiser didn't decide to go for that. Another one adept just running in and out, but he never did actually scout that third base. And meanwhile, though, Hellraiser, I guess he's feeling pretty safe to go macro here. Getting up a Nexus, TLO getting up a Spore Crawler, so both these players going for a macro play. They don't necessarily want to be caught off guard here, but I feel as if sort of TLO has the advantage in a way. Not necessarily the advantage, but he's really got more potential right now. Hellraiser, he's got a third base up, so he's gonna have to play defensive here. TLO already has Spore Crawlers up, so there's not much for Hellraiser to do with this Oracle. Maybe he'll get a drone or two. But for now, it's really up to TLO to decide how this game's gonna be played out, because Hellraiser's sort of already made his play. This Oracle gonna come in here, Queen shooing it away. Gets out of there, no damage actually taken, but an Oracle like this definitely wants to be getting some kills off. Second Oracle on the way, gonna be followed up by a third, so Hellraiser's actually going for a multiple Stargate play here. This could potentially be a mass Oracle style coming out of him here. I guess that's a ladder game, so there was a pause there. So this is a very unique style, getting another gas, so it seems he's going to be committing to mass oracles here. Now, this is not a common strategy. It recently was popularized by the Taiwanese Protoss known as Haas, who does crazy builds like this all the time, but I guess Hellraiser's thinking, okay, no one's going to expect this coming early. But no, he's actually not going for more oracles, he's going straight into a Void Ray, +1 weapon attack for his air units. So double Void Ray following up these oracles, and I'm not sure what three oracles is, a bit of an odd number, but I guess he wants to be able to maybe pick off units, throw down stasis wards, get off countless revelations. Maybe TLO caught a bit of a whiff of this, just knowing there's a Stargate, possibly a Phoenix follow-up. These oracles are getting a drone or two here, so that is nice for Hellraiser, and he's actually in a decent, well, actually quite a good economic position right now. And the thing about 3 oracles as well, though, is they can start picking off queens very well. One of that oracle does need to get out of there, as it is weak, but Hellraiser trying to get some damage done with these oracles, and he's succeeding quite well, a queen here and there. And while he's even on workers and even on bases, this works out quite well for the Protoss player. TLO, though, did sort of prepare for this. He is getting out a Hydralisk Den, so this is what he wants. I mean, he's sort of countering Hellraiser if he makes enough Hydralisk, because right now, we're going to be seeing 4 Void Rays, and Void Rays are a unit. They're either terrible if there's a counter for them, but if you don't have a readily available counter for the Void Ray, they just seem like such a good unit. Anyway, though, that Overseer or Overlord did come in and see those Void Rays. A bit unfortunate for Hellraiser that this is going to be scouted, but he's not stopping. He's throwing down another Stargate. This is like an old school style of play, man. Getting up 3 Stargates. He's going to be just churning out these Void Rays here. He says, all right, you know this is coming, but can you actually stop it? Hellraiser might be playing for the long game here. Lots of photon cannons going up. This is an interesting style of play coming out of Hellraiser right now. He's getting up a Templar Archive, so possibly for Archons, possibly for Storm, so he can deal with Hydras. Void Rays, if a Storm can land on the Hydralisk, then the Void Rays can sort of go to town. I think one of those Oracles did go down, though, as it was very weak, but these other 2 are still alive, and they can always get off harassment. Meanwhile, TLO is sort of freeing up this attack path. He's got +1 ranged attack for his ground units, but interestingly enough, there is +1 attack for these Void Rays, and I'm actually not sure how this sort of works out here. Void Rays with +1 attack can always, you know, deal lots of damage, but I'm not sure how well they actually benefit versus Hydralisk. As Void Rays, I honestly don't know. We're just going to have to see how this plays out. Ravagers are on the way. Yeah, Ravagers can't shoot up, but their Corrosive Vials can hit things like Void Rays and force them to split. But look at this defensive position from Hellraiser. He's just gotten up so many cannons right now. I don't think this position can be broken. Stasis Wards, cannons. TLO's possibly going to go for an attack, but I think if he does, it might be a death sentence. And look at this. Tempest is following up these Void Rays. Hellraiser is going full-on turtle toss right now. Oracle's going to get off a Revelation, so Hellraiser knows his situation. He knows he can sit cozy on 3 bases. Yeah, he saw the 4th base, but it's not the end of a world for a 3-base Protoss versus a 4-base Zerg. But the supplies are a bit concerning right now. TLO is up 40, but this defensive position is very good for Hellraiser. He's got out these Templar with Storm, so if TLO decides to attack, it could go horribly wrong for TLO. Tempest are on the way. That's going to sort of give Hellraiser the ability to make TLO make mistakes, make TLO take engagements. Continuous Revelation on this army. So many Hydras, though. This is absurd. But a Side Storm goes down, getting a good connection, forcing this army back. Still a lot of healthy Hydras, though. So Hellraiser going to need a few more, but he definitely has a few more. He has, in fact, 4 Templar, so more Storms available. And we actually saw there this Templar weakening the Hydras, forcing TLO to pull back, make mistakes, bleed off units, and Void Rays can fight Hydras in a small amount. Now look at this, the Hydra count is dropping. See, just 4 starting to bleed off there. Ravagers trying to get continuous Corrosive Bile, and the creep for TLO is just spreading onto Hellraiser's doorstep, but another Storm goes down. He's starting to do massive damage to TLO's Hydra count. Yeah, the Hydras can trade well versus Void Rays, but there's now Tempest Archons. There may be more Storms in the future. And it seems that there's just enough Void Rays right now to push this army back by Hellraiser. Hellraiser, very well done here, displaying this defensive style. TLO trying to crack a nut that isn't meant to be cracked. I guess TLO's not used to Protoss players playing this defensive usually. As, yeah, normally a Protoss player has good defense. They have Photon Overcharge and stuff, but normally they don't have 9 or 10 cannons. I guess Hellraiser he's sort of marching to the sound of his own drum, to the beat of his own drum, I guess. TLO now throwing out Spore Crawlers, but ultimately, if we take a look at the production tab right now, it's still just Hydras and Queens. Yeah, more ranged attack, and oh my gosh, Hellraiser is going for carriers here. He is just going for whatever he wants right now, these carriers. He's gonna have Void Rays, carriers, Tempest, everything. He's trying to get a 4th base. This might be a bit ambitious here, as these Void Rays are trading versus the Hydras, and not very well at all. There's no actual more Templars, so Hellraiser is gonna have to cancel this base, or he might possibly lose it. Good cancel there. But Hellraiser is oh my gosh, he's gonna have a hard time walking through this area. There's so many cannons here. I guess he has minerals and he's just starved on gas, so he says, why not build 15 photon cannons? Oh, and apparently he needs more too. I think Hellraiser might have to try and expand right. That makes the most sense. He can hold these 2 top choke points, and then possibly try to hold the right a little easier than getting surrounded. Well, and it's a lot harder to expand to a 4th base when there's already creep and Spore Crawlers there. Spire on the way for TLO. I think this is a bit overdue here, as yeah, Hydras can trade versus Void Rays. They can't necessarily trade versus Tempest, Carriers, Archons, and Storm though, so it's going to be very important that TLO gets up a better counter here. Hellraiser, he is going to start dropping in the income tab. Right now he's on a good income though. His bases are starting to mine out though, so it is getting a bit worrisome. And look at this, he's just playing this so smart. A Templar or 2 at the top of each ramp, followed up by Photon Overcharge and Photon Cannon, can push back almost any number of Hydralisks, because if they just push up, the Storm destroys them, then the cannons finish them off. These Queens are just transfusing non-stop though. These 4 Tempests, yeah, they can sort of push and prod, but don't actually expect them to kill too much. Killing this one Spore Crawler is a challenge right now. Picks off a Hydralisk or 2, but these Tempests need to be careful. TLO opting for Corruptors, not opting for Vipers here. Oh, and he's actually going to lose a Tempest here, is Hellraiser. So Hellraiser, he's down on supply. He's sort of getting choked out right now. His income is dropping every minute that this game goes on. He does have the +2 air unit attack. He's getting up +3 air unit attack, and he's got so many minerals, so I guess Carriers is a good choice, as they just cost minerals to build these interceptors. And with high attack, they could be efficient here. These Tempests being very ambitious here, trying to bait these Hydras in. But look at this, TLO is doing such a good job right now. He's spreading more tumors. TLO is getting this gold, has gotten this gold base, so that's very good for him. But he's not exactly macroing like a Zerg who knows that their opponent is just turtling. He is sort of starting that now, though. He's getting up another gold base. He's getting up another Evo chamber. He needs to get more upgrades and everything. He's actually getting armor for his Corruptors here, as he wants to be able to just sort of tank all the damage that he can. And Hellraiser's slowly trying to push out to the right here. He's got to clear some creep if he wants this Nexus. TLO doing the Spore Crawler cancel trick, trying to get as much supply as possible, and these Vipers are going to be worrisome for Hellraiser. But Hellraiser has managed to build up his supply. TLO is only 30 army supply ahead right now, and it is a very effective air supply for Hellraiser. This is how many carriers right now? 8 carriers, that's, oh gosh, never try to do math. 8 times 8, what's that, 64? That may be horribly wrong, by the way, but I believe that's right. Apparently I haven't done enough, didn't do enough times table charts or whatever in school. Anyway, so we have more Void Rays on the way. I don't even know if Hellraiser is aware of what he's doing. Yeah, Void Rays are cool. Why not? May as well get more Void Rays here. More and more Void Rays, I guess, to deal with the Corruptors. This one Archon has been just sort of chilling out here. I think it might not be able to get through And that's why it's just sitting there. Yeah, look, it's going to try to make it through here, but I feel as if it's going to take a very bad path. Okay, nope, not happening. Anyway, on this side of the map, Hellraiser is going for an engagement. I believe he released his interceptors on top of sort of TLO's static defense. Now, these interceptors are going to kill these spore crawlers, but they can't chase TLO's army right now, and I think TLO should just back off until these expire. Wow, these released interceptors are actually doing very well for Hellraiser, but it is going to cost him a boatload to replace all these. And yeah, Hellraiser's definitely doing poor on the money side of things right now. His third base is almost mined out. His natural is basically all mined out, and his main base is completely all mined out. So Hellraiser needs to hold on to this base, but we see parasitic bomb going down on this entire army. The carriers don't have a large amount of interceptors right now, but I think TLO, he might have overextended. He attacked with such a small portion of his army, and he bled off units, so now Hellraiser can happily sit back. And he's just got such a scary army right now. TLO has 2 gold bases, but yet no money to remax. He's got an absurd amount of gas. He's getting good upgrades, but ultimately no units right now. And Hellraiser's actually pushing out on the map. I guess he knows this is such a bold move by Hellraiser. He's pushing out, gonna start killing off the creep, securing more bases, sort of putting TLO on edge here if he decides to go for a main attack right now. TLO spending this gas, 7 Vipers on the way, but I don't know if they're going to have energy in time. When those Vipers are up, they will do amazing damage versus this carriers. As carriers and Void Rays are pretty tanky versus Parasitic Glom, but I don't know if they're tanky enough to stop 7 Vipers worth. Players know even on supply TLO rebuilding, but he's only got 6 Corruptors and 19 Hydras for actual like fighting units to fight versus these carriers. That's all spells for TLO right now, and these Vipers are just going to start consuming Evo Chambers at an absurd rate. I guess TLO needs to be careful not to kill off this hatchery, because that's a lot of Vipers. Okay, so we now see maxed out interceptors for Hellraiser's Archon. So effective. This is actually such a scary composition. Protoss has struggled versus certain Zerg compositions, such as Broodlords, if they don't have an air army in time, as if the Protoss can struggle versus certain compositions. But when a Protoss has just carriers straight out of the gate fairly early into this game, Hellraiser is just basically prepared for anything right now. He can trade with almost any army. He's going to kill off this gold base. Not the worst loss for TLOs. He does have the other gold base, but TLO's economy never really reached that super scary Zerg amount. TLO does have good upgrades. It is +3 attack, though, for Hellraiser's carriers. So he can always get something done here. And it seems that a fight may be going down. This is an absurd amount of Vipers right now. They are going to throw down parasitic bombs on all these carriers, but I think TLO might have made a mistake there, not actually connecting with too many of the units. And there's just too many interceptors right now. These Archons getting on top of all the Hydras, and TLO does not have that much left. The Vipers are going to pull back, but the Corruptors are shredded. And I don't think these spellcasters are going to cut it for TLO. GG, Hellraiser takes the game. Very well played, very unique style. Making that Sky Toss work on this map here. Very well played by Hellraiser. I mean, he wasn't in the best economic position, but when you can kill the Zerg, doesn't really matter. Very well played. If you guys enjoyed the cast, feel free to leave a like. If you have any casting feedback, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I shall see you guys next time. And P.S. subscribe for more content, as I'm always putting out lots of StarCraft casts. Bye-bye.